The first thing that hits isn't the sound, it's the pressure. A weight behind your eyes. A split second where the world narrows down to just your breath, your pulse, and the quiet knowledge that someone, somewhere, is about to decide whether you live or die. Dust hangs in the air like frozen smoke. The blast has already happened. What comes next is worse. The waiting. A sniper doesn't rush into chaos. Chaos comes to them. It creeps in through the heat shimmer off the pavement, through the static on the radio, through the slow, steady burn of a heart that just refuses to calm down. While everyone else feels the fight explode around them, the sniper feels it stack up inside. Every single variable, every risk, every unknown. They call it cognitive load. It's a polite, clinical term for carrying the weight of way too much information, all while knowing that one single mistake is final. The ground is dry, cracked like old paint. The sun presses down hard enough to make the air itself wobble. Sweat pools in places you can't wipe. The rifle is steady, but the body holding it is screaming. Muscles are cramping. Eyes sting from staring. Time stretches out into something thick and unreal. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel like an entire lifetime lived in one single, prone position. This isn't the tension you see in action movies. This is pure endurance. This is restraint. The brain is doing so much more than just aiming. It's tracking wind that can't be seen. It's counting distance without a ruler. It's reading movement that might be hostile, or it might be a civilian who just took one wrong step at the worst possible time. The mind is running all these parallel calculations while the body has to stay perfectly still. Your heartbeat is slowed by discipline, not by calm. Calm is a luxury you can't afford. Control is survival. Cognitive load is the invisible battlefield. It's the mental tax of holding 10 different truths in your head at once, even when they completely contradict each other. The target might be armed. The target might be bait. The radio might go dead. Your spotter might be wrong. The order you were given might change at the last second. The shot you're waiting for might never even come. And still, the sniper waits. Still, the sniper watches. Still, that finger rests just outside the trigger guard. Because discipline matters more than adrenaline. Somewhere far away, artillery rolls like distant thunder. Closer now. Small arms fire cracks and echoes off concrete walls. The city itself seems to breathe violence. Dogs bark, and then they go quiet. A curtain flaps in a broken window. A child's shoe lies in the street, coated in dust, forgotten. The sniper sees every bit of it. They have to, because awareness is their armor. Miss one single detail, and the whole picture collapses. And fear is there. Anyone who says otherwise is lying. Fear sits low and constant, like a fever that never breaks. But it doesn't get to drive. Training takes the wheel. Repetition. Muscle memory. 1,000 hours of sheer boredom, all for 5 seconds of absolute, undeniable clarity. Elite snipers aren't fearless. They're just practiced at carrying fear without ever letting it spill. The mind wants relief. It craves the shot, the movement, the release from the tension. Instead, it gets silence. And it's the worst kind of silence, the kind that's filled with what-ifs. The cognitive load just keeps climbing, pressing down harder and harder. The sniper's job is not to escape it, but to function inside it. To think clearly when the brain is completely overloaded. To make a clean decision when nothing is clean. There's a moment, right before every potential shot, where the world feels fragile. Like glass under pressure. The sniper knows that pulling the trigger doesn't just end one life. It changes many. It ripples outward, unseen, and permanent. That knowledge sits heavy on you. It should. Anyone who treats it lightly doesn't belong in that position. The wind shifts. Maybe a half-mile-per-hour difference. It's enough to matter. The sniper adjusts, barely a movement. You breathe in. You breathe out. The body wants to shake. It doesn't. The mind quiets down just enough to let the front sight settle. Chaos doesn't disappear. It gets organized. It gets labeled. Prioritized. This is the environment where elite snipers thrive. Not because they enjoy the stress, but because they've learned how to sort it. The shot, when it finally comes, is almost anticlimactic. A sharp recoil against the shoulder. A muted crack. Dust jumps somewhere far away. And then, stillness. There's no cheering, no celebration, Just a confirmation over the radio. And then, it's on to the next task. Exfil routes. Threat checks. The mission continues, because it always does. But sometimes the shot never comes. Sometimes, restraint is the mission. Holding fire while everything inside you is screaming to act. Watching a threat pass by and trusting that it's part of a bigger picture. That takes a different kind of courage. It's the kind that doesn't get medals or stories told back home, but it saves lives all the same. And the cognitive load doesn't end when the rifle is slung over your back. It follows the sniper through dark alleyways, over rooftops, into temporary safe houses that never really feel safe. It hums in the background during debriefs and while filling out paperwork. It lingers long after the deployment ends. The brain doesn't know how to turn it off. It learned too well how to stay alert. At night, memories surface uninvited. The smell of dust. The way the air looked right before the trigger broke. The sound of nothing afterward. Courage isn't loud here. It's quiet. It's getting up the next day and carrying the weight all over again. It's living with decisions that can't be undone and still choosing to serve. Elite snipers operate in ambiguity because war itself is ambiguous. There are no clean lines, no perfect information. There are just fragments, shadows, seconds. They don't wait for certainty. They act when action is required, and they hold when restraint is wiser. That balance is incredibly rare. It's earned through pressure. The public sees the rifle, the scope, the myth. What they don't see is the mental grind, the constant filtering of noise, the discipline it takes to stay human in environments designed to strip your humanity away. The sniper doesn't thrive because chaos is easy. They thrive because they've learned how to carry it without breaking. When the mission ends and the dust finally settles, the silence returns. But it's not the tense silence of the battlefield. It's a deeper one, the kind that asks questions that have no answers. The sniper stands, stretches out their cramped limbs, and walks away from a position that held their entire world just hours before. Somewhere else, life goes on. People argue about small things. Traffic crawls, coffee gets cold on a desk, and the soldier carries a private weight that no one else can see. Cognitive load isn't just a concept. It's the price of vigilance. It's the cost of being the calm point in the middle of a storm. In the end, elite snipers are not defined by the shots they take. They're defined by the chaos they endure, the restraint they choose, and the quiet resolve to bear it all so that others never have to. Thanks for watching. If this gave you a new perspective, consider subscribing for more deep dives. Stay safe.